Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 24 of X-Men, written by Jerry Duggan. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, tension between mutants and humankind is reaching an all-time high, as Orchis continues to spread anti-mutant propaganda, painting themselves as a well-meaningful altruistic alternative to Krakoan medicine and technology to the public, all while secretly funding the efforts of Dr. Stasis, Moria, and many more unethical figures with their own bone to pick with the mutant community. Now, perhaps as a united front, Krakoa could weather the storm that is brewing, but human and mutant tension aren't the only ones that are fastly reaching the boiling point. Because Cyclops and Jean Grey are divided by their separate approaches on dealing with the recent brood infestation. So the rift between Jean Grey and Cyclops grows even wider as the weight of leading the X-Men bears down on them both. So with everything going wrong, we pick up with young Cable bodysliding into this timeline outside an Orchis' facility, 24 hours before the Hellfire Gala begins. Because according to him, during this event, there will be yet another mutant massacre which he is trying to avoid by any means necessary, even if it means canceling the event himself. So with no time to waste, he quickly hacks into the door, making his way into the facility, only to have his technology jammed, which was a dead giveaway that he was being watched. So with his presence known, Cable immediately went to work, as he pulled his guns out on awaiting Moria and Omega Sentinel and let them know that he is fully aware of what they are planning and he is here not to let that happen. But with Cable relaying that information, Omega quickly made the conclusion that apparently if he traveled back in time to prevent tomorrow, then his visit could be seen as proof that they have already won. So with this revelation coming to pass, Nimrod descended from the ceiling and caught Cable completely off guard and immediately ripped his arm clear off. And before Cable could mount any kind of retaliation, Dr. Stasis comes out of nowhere and shoots him with some kind of freeze ray. Now, according to Moria, the only reason why they did this was because if they were to kill Cable, then more mutants would come from the future to stop them. So in the meantime, he would just have to serve as a frozen prisoner. So with Cable out of the picture, their next target on the list is Manifold, because according to Moria he is a huge problem, because if he lives then humanity loses. On a side note, this could tie in with the events of the Rogue and Gambit duo comic that was also covered on my channel. But anyway, simultaneously we pick up with Destiny talking to Rogue in the X-Men's treehouse about the importance of finding and securing Manifold, because his life means the survival of mutant kind. So of course, with this level of importance relying on one man's life, Rogue points out how they should inform the rest of the X-Men about the situation. But see, Destiny sees it a different way, because she has it on good authority that one of the members of the X-Men is also a traitor. And this same traitor will turn the tides of the war. Now according to Destiny, this must happen so later they can make this weakness into a strength. But in the meantime, the X-Men will buckle under the weight of the war to come. So because events have to play out a certain way in order for mutants to come out on top, Destiny stresses the importance of Rogue's discretion. Because Destiny also goes on to tell Rogue the rest of her vision, because she sees kings clashing in white, black after the death of the Red Queen, a javelin bolt from the heavens, and stars ripped in half. She also hears the poisoning lies of the false captain, and the fool who speaks the truth would pay the price. So with the prophecy out there, Rogue agrees to stay quiet for now, out of her trust for Destiny. So with that out of the way, we pick up on Game World with POGG wrecking shop and stealing everything within sight. So of course, as you may have guessed, Game World sent out a distress call, and it just so happened that the X-Men were already on their way for a little rest and relaxation. So when they got there, of course they immediately jumped into battle, which was something Scott didn't want to do, because he was forced to put his conversation with Jean on the back burner until everything was dealt with. So with the battle on, Synch borrowed Colossus's power in order to pull off a fastball special with talent, as Iceman used his power to freeze his sword in place. So just as things were going their way out of nowhere, the little Poglets came rushing into the room, with massive bags of money and jewelry in hand. So with the chaos breaking out, we jumped over to Forge, just sitting at the bar contemplating what his next move in life should be. And given the fact that the Hellfire Gala is where the next team of X-Men is supposed to be chosen, so now it is starting to look more and more likely that Forge will not be on the next lineup. So getting back to the fight, we see Magic jumping into the fray, and she immediately goes toe-to-toe with POGG. So while they are battling it out, Sync jumps in an attempt to hold down the massive elf, but to his surprise POGG backhands him into a window, sending him flying into space. But lucky for Sync he was still in his Colossus form, so he was good for now. So with the vacuum of space threatening to pull everyone out, Jean quickly used her psychic ability to hold everyone in place in an attempt to save everyone she could. So with this fight getting out of hand, Talon got her claws and drove it deep into POGG's jaw, creating the opportunity for Magic to have a talk with the real POGG deep inside. And after a brief conversation, Magic agreed to give POGG her cross made out of Mysterium in exchange for him to leave peacefully. So with the deal struck, POGG left on peaceful terms, ending the chaos. So with the day saved, the rest of the X team proceeded to go back home as well, with the exception of Cyclops and Jean Grey, for those two still had business to attend to. So with everyone gone, Jean took Cyclops' mind into a mental space where she proceeded to ask him a very important question. And the way she went about doing it was by preferencing it with how proud she was of him when he created the treehouse. But she couldn't help but to wonder why he never stepped foot on Araco, which was a place she created for mutants that she was proud of. So with the question out there, Cyclops responded with, he didn't want to give the humans an excuse to believe that mutants don't belong on Earth, because at the end of the day, if they give the humans a reason to believe it is okay to exile them from Earth, then they will take it. Now Jean on the other hand saw this as Cyclops just being cynical about life. But see, that's when Cyclops clapped back by saying, have you met the humans recently? Do you not feel that they are already at war with us? And the scary part about all of this is that one of those new sentinels mopped the floor with the entire team. And to make things worse, Orca's propaganda and disinformation fills the air, and the stress from all of that feels like a noose tightening around his neck. And then he goes on to tell her to look at how they treat their own kind, the ones who don't fit in, the ones who wear the wrong clothes, the ones who love the wrong people. These people who are looked down on, because their only crimes are making their oppressors uncomfortable. And all Cyclops wants to do is be there for those people, both mutant and human alike. So with the air clear, Jean Grey lets Scott know that he has to win them over with love. But they can't pretend that they are the same, because they were doing that their entire life, and it got them nowhere. And as for Scott as a person, he makes for a great captain for Krakoa and is doing a great job leading them. So with the rift between them growing ever smaller, Jean Grey proceeded to kiss Scott for the first time in a while. So after their passionate exchange, Jean Grey let Scott know that she has to go check on their wounded friends. But just because they are slowly getting over their fractured relationship does not mean she is willing to stay with the X-Men team. So as she flies away, she let it be known that if he finds himself off the team after the Hellfire Gala and wants to be with her, all he has to do is go and find her. So later on that night, we pick up a Jean Grey showing up at the X-Men treehouse checking in on Polaris. Because right now Polaris is going through a hard time because she just found out about the death of Magneto. So as she attempted to console her, we get a small foreshadowing of Polaris leaving the team due to her mental state. So following that encounter, we switch over to Magic and Sunfire standing before Araco. Because Sunfire was tasked by Araco to help find its voice, which was Red Root of the Forest. Now, Red Root was a member of the Great Ring that has been trapped in Otherworld since Krakoa won the tournament that led to the terraforming of Mars. Because Mad Jim knew what he had in the Iraqi's mutants. So the only question is what price would have to be paid to get them returned. So with the task laid before them, Magic opened up a disc to jump into Otherworld to drop Sunfire off so he could find the missing mutants. But to her surprise, her disc was acting up due to Otherworld's magical interference. So with them both safely on the other side, Sunfire said his goodbyes and informs her that he will watch her leave to ensure that everything goes smoothly during her exit. And just to cover his bases, he also let it be known for her to meet him back there in a week, just in case he doesn't find his way back, because, by that point, he would have found and freed Redroot. So with the plan set, Magic tells him that she will see him in a week and to remember to be careful for this place was dangerous during their tournament. So with that said, she proceeds to teleport away. So with Sunfire setting off on his adventure, we fast forward several months in the future, with Sunfire making his way through a blackout blizzard with Redroot close to his chest, struggling to continue forward. Because he let it be known that he finds it pathetic that a mutant by the name Sunfire ends up being reduced to little more than a spark against a massive dark void. And due to that he is sorry that he failed Redroot, because he doesn't know how long he can march in that darkness, for once his heart beats its final beat then his failure will be complete. So with that said, issue number 24 of X-Men comes to an end. Now to me, this issue serves more as a setup for us, the reader, to say our goodbyes to this iteration of the X-Men, especially given the fact that the next issue will take place during the 2023 Hellfire Gala, where we all know, each year the viewers elect a new lineup to carry the name X-Men. And when it comes to Sunfire as a character, I can't wait to see his journey through Otherworld as he fights his way home in X-Men Unlimited. So down in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.